Hi you guys, my name is Derrick Rashid and welcome to my channel. Welcome back for another episode of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After ? On our last episode, we ended with Larissa in this big huge cliffhanger of her going to the immigration office and being a little bit nervous because she didn't know if she was going to get deported. So that's where we pick up in this episode, and surprise surprise, she does not get deported, she does not get arrested, but she does get her photo taken and her fingerprints done. And let's be honest, like at this point she kind of really should be used to that. But then she goes on and says that like she's kind of tired of being single and she's going to go out on this date. So we're all thinking that, oh hey, so this is going to be someone new. It's not going to be Mr. Funny with the twist, but it's Eric, who we already met at the last reunion when he got into it with Cole. So anyway, they go and they have this date, and then we found out that Larissa broke up with Eric via text message, and basically by the end of it, they're kind of sort of back together. I guess they're holding hands, they're being really sweet to each other. But one thing Eric did say is that when their relationship ended the first time, he felt like Larissa was using him. So if you felt like she was using you, why would you then go to get back in a relationship with her? And according to what Larissa said, she's basically looking for someone to bring her a little bit of happiness and support during this complicated time in her life. And she also just casually throws out there that Eric should spend some money on her boobs so that she can get a boob augmentation. This is not a relationship for love. This is a relationship for literal monetary support. At least that's how I take it. We meet up with Tanya and her friend who we met back in New York when Sinjin arrived. They go to the nail salon, and obviously the friend must be paying for it because Tanya doesn't have a job. So during the conversation, they start talking about Tanya and Sinjin and how everything's going in their marriage. The friend is like, well, do you think you went about this like really fast? Like you felt like this was rushed at all? And the answer, yes, like everyone in this show is rushed. But Tanya goes on to talk about like Sinjin, and she's just basically casting this negative cloud over him, but she's not saying anything that she has done to contribute to the relationship in this manner or how this may have affected Sinjin, her actions. And her friend brings up the whole thing about maybe like Sinjin is feeling some type of way because he is literally taking care of you at this moment. He's doing everything for you, and that's a good point, but their issues go way deeper than that. Like, let's be honest. Later on that evening, I'm assuming, Tanya and Sinjin go out to dinner and they get dropped off by a vehicle. Not sure if this is production, if this is a ride-sharing situation, but my first question was, who's paying for this dinner? Who's paying for this car? Then we see a bottle of wine on the table, and Sinjin's already going in. Like, he is taking this wine to the head like it's shots of liquor. During the conversation, Tanya brings up the fact that she feels as though Sinjin is kind of sort of like not on the same level as her, the same playing field, same goals on how we're going to move into the future. And Sinjin's like, well, I mean, I feel kind of conflicted because how am I supposed to be comfortable in making plans for the future with someone who doesn't see me as their soulmate? He used a little bit more seasoning on those words. He said like 2 cuss words, but apparently this affected Tanya, and then she started crying and wants him to apologize. The whole reaction just makes it seem like this is the first time they're talking about this since this happened last season. And if Sinjin is really feeling this type of way, I wonder, which probably not because of how everything is playing out right now, if she apologized to him for making him feel less than or unimportant, unappreciated, not her soulmate, all of those things. But Sinjin does own up to the fact that Tanya says that he needs to create more of a balance in his life between like actual being an adult and like partying and drinking and stuff like that. I'm still stuck on the part that neither of them have a job right now. So it just seems like there's a lot of money going out that's not really being brought in. So is production paying for things? Are they using their TLC checks, which doesn't really make sense because if they gotta pay rent and all these bills that come along with this house that they should not have gotten, just make it make sense for me. So then we're brought over to California where Kalani and Asuelu are still visiting for Oliver's birthday weekend. Lo and Colini comes over, who is Kalani's father and sister. During the conversation at breakfast, Lo asks where Asuelu is, and Kalani's like, oh, he's in the room with the baby, and then her mom's like, oh, he came back last night. Cut to the interview. Kalani went to pick up Asuelu, but he gave her 1, 2, 3 fake locations to pick him up at, and I'm sorry, after the second one, you would have found a way back. I'm not about to chase around town because you decided to have a hissy fit and run off on a bus. Get on another bus and come back. After this conversation at breakfast, Kalani goes to the room where Asuelu is playing a video game, and she's just like, hey, can you like get off the game and come out, like this is the day of the event, blah blah blah. And he's like, I don't want to speak to anyone, like basically you're annoying me, get out my face. And Lo's ready to go. Lo is aggravated, and he promises his wife and his daughter that he's gonna behave this weekend, but Lo is ready to open a can and take everything back to the Samoan way and just go at it with Asuelu. Later on in the day, the actual party happens for Oliver, and Asuelu's still nowhere to be found. And one of the friends are like, hey, where's Asuelu? And Kalani goes again to check up on him, and he basically brushes her off again, but this time, sometime later, he comes out and Lo is like, we about to nip this right now. But he says he's gonna keep it calm because he promised his daughter and his wife, but next time he gonna get physical. And I'm like, I don't know if Asuelu's ready for that. This is a thing. This is a thing that really needs to be corrected, either by them going to counseling, Asuelu being able to, let's talk about that. Lo has to speak Samoan, right? Because he grew up in Samoa. So why doesn't Lo speak to Asuelu in Samoan to try to like mediate something or get an interpreter, which I'm surprised TLC really hasn't done already. He goes out and he puts on this show for everyone after not being there for however long. You could have just showed up. You didn't have to be like all buddy, oh, we're a happy family moment. Afterwards, Asuelu tries to have a conversation with Kalani about the happenings of what's been going on in their relationship over this past weekend, the tension and everything, and Kalani wants an apology, and kind of like rightfully, I would want to be apologized to if someone called me a B and dumb and stupid and told me I'm annoying, and then like everything that happened, I probably would demand one. Colt and Debbie are packing up for Brazil. Debbie's all ready to go. They arrive in Brazil, and Debbie's so excited that, oh my god, they have Panda Express here. That's something that really bothers me about people who leave their country to travel and not want to immerse themselves in the culture and the food and everything like that. Like, you may as well stay home. Jess picks them up from the airport, and her and Colt are a little bit affectionate. Even in the car ride to the hotel, they're just kissing and being extremely affectionate, and then they just throw out the fact that they already have names for their kids. Debbie feels some type of way because she didn't even know that Colt wanted kids. I don't know if my mom knows I want kids, but that also doesn't mean that I don't have a list of names in my phone. Is she expecting him to tell her every single thought that crosses his brain? They arrive to the hotel that they're staying at, and Debbie's apparently getting sick, obviously from all the kissing, and she wants to lay down. She says she's old and yada yada yada, so she wants to go take a nap. We walk into the room after check-in. One room for 3 people. 2 of these people which are a couple, and the other one is one of their mothers. Why did Colt rent 1 room? If I went somewhere with a partner, my mom is staying a couple doors down, at the very least. We're also headed to Nigeria with Angela. Angela's packing up everything, and she gets a friend to come over, not the same friend who's going to be her witness, somebody else, to take care of Mima, to take care of the 17 grandchildren, to help Skyla in this entire transition without Angela being there. Angela arrives in Nigeria and Michael is there to greet her, and it's this very happy moment, and we all know based off of history this happy moment is not going to last for too long with these 2. So I'm excited that they're enjoying their moments. They go off in the car to go to the apartment that Angela obviously paid for because Michael's not working. Because they just want to test out everything prior to the wedding since they didn't have the 90 days here in the States. So they walk into the apartment and everything is cool except for the fact that the bed is hard. Angela's not really here for that. And there is a rat in the kitchen, and Michael picks up the rat and starts to chase Angela. Now, I probably would have gotten the plane back to the States if you don't chase nobody with no rat. Oh. So we are on the first morning in Moldova with Andre and Elizabeth, and Andre's mom and Elizabeth are trying to have a moment in the kitchen while they're preparing breakfast, but due to the language barrier there is a bit of a conflict on understanding each other. Although Libby does speak and understand very minimal Romanian, it's not enough to have a full-blown conversation. We're sitting down at breakfast, all of the family. Libby starts asking questions, and this is where the whole translation thing becomes like a really huge issue. So Libby asks if Andre's mom does this every day, preparing this breakfast and everything, and he translates this and he's like, do you do this every day or do you do this just when you have company? She says, yeah, but I make it a little bit more special when there are guests. And then Libby asks, does this make her tired? He translates. His mom opens her mouth to start to reply, and she probably has like a half of a word out, and he's like, nope, there's no room for tired, she says. And that's just how it is in Moldova. Like, everyone's just on the go, go, go. Like, the women are taking care of the kids, they're working, they're cleaning the house, and da da da. But all she said was, of course. And this is the part where Libby comes for his neck. She's like, oh, so that's why you have a job? You're a man, right? You're supposed to be head of the household. I thought you were this strong worker from Moldova. And I'm like, yes, girl, read him. But he's like, oh, so you're going to insult me in front of my family? You're lucky they don't understand. So basically, he wants Libby to bring home the bacon. He wants her to take care of the kids, clean the house, cook his meals, while he literally just sits there, does nothing, no job, no plans to have a job. And it's basically at this moment, I'm like, Libby, like, grab Eleanor, tell your family, like, cancel those tickets, get a refund or something, because this wedding ain't happening. We're actually gonna get a divorce, and I'm gonna get a restraining order, because this ain't it. They go on a night trip to go visit a bar to see Andre's friends. They arrive at the bar and the friends are there, and they're like, oh, Andre, are you working? And he's like, no, why should I? The woman works for me. His friends are basically like, oh, America's changing him and da da da. And I'm like, nah, bro. America's not changing him. He found himself in a situation in which he could be the lazy person that he is, in which he could ride someone's coattail and not have to pay for anything, because he has a security blanket that is Chuck, because Chuck's not gonna let anything happen to Libby. Why is Libby in this situation? Like, why is she still in this situation with this man? So we're gonna end off with Paul and Carini. We last left them with the whole entire car fiasco, and that's kind of where we're picking up. They are going back to the hotel, and baby Pierre has made a mess in his diaper. Carini's trying to clean him up, but Paul is literally like a foot and a half away from her, yapping in her ear, oh, do you need this? And da 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 da. And she's like, Paul, just shut up. Let me be, let me clean the baby. I'd probably be upset too. I have a thing about my personal space, and we were just out in the heat. I'm already aggravated. You're in my face. You're making me more and more and more aggravated. So when Paul asked her, like, hey, are you gonna go to dinner with my mom? And she's like, no, go ahead. Paul leaves, goes to dinner with his mother, and his mother says, oh, well, if Carini and Pierre aren't here, then I wouldn't have come. When I tell y'all, Paul's mother is like so overt with her shade at this point, I love it. I'm really here for it. But during the dinner, he's like, I hate to ask you for money. I hate to ask for your help, but I'm about to ask you for your help. And she's like, no, like at some point in time, like you really need to grow up. You need to be a father. You need to be a husband. You need to be able to provide for the people that you brought here, the person that you created. And I can't, like, just, you're gonna have to figure this out on your own. Paul and Carini then go to the store. They have to pick up some groceries, some things for the baby, and Paul still is on his whole, oh, let me show you how much greater of a country America is. Look at our grocery stores. It's so big. We have 14 varieties of onions, whereas in Brazil we only had 1 or 2 to pick from, and all this like ridiculous stuff. So we end with them at this whole house hunting thing. Carini wants a house. Paul needs to provide a house. Paul made it seem like that he has all these things in America and life would be better for them here and blah, 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 blah. We go to a, what did she call it? A fixer-upper, a fix-it-yourself or something like that. Y'all, this thing, this house, apartment, shack, whatever, it's literally, it's basically worse than what they were living in Brazil. And Paul was like, oh, I think this low income option will be great. And I'm like, no, bro, like you can't go around throwing that like America has all these great things and da 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 da, and then come for how she was living, yet you go and take her to these options of living where it's literally a condemned place in an RV. Like you're not even living up to the promises that you basically made her. So of course she's gonna be upset. Like you lied to her. So you guys, that's it for this episode. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on socials. I do have Instagram and I have Twitter. And my handles are Derrick_Rashid, just like it is with this channel. Only the channel does not have the underscore. And until next time, guys, bye.